Hey guys, we're here. Okay, I don't know. Hey, what's up? It's us. It's Aaron. It's Adam. I'm with Rebel Status. He's with Escape from San Francisco. We're co-hosts for the new podcast.
Yeah, check us out.
Check us out. Say what's up. Hit me on, I don't know, social media.
What's your socials?
Rebel Status Co. at everything. At REBELSTATUSCO. What's poppin'?
Hello, everyone. First episode today. I'm here with Adam.
Hey yo. What are we doing? We're talking about like a few things going on in the community today. Let's see. We gotta talk about Elon. Gotta talk about Kyrie. Gonna talk about what's going on in the Bay. Lots of YouTube Avenue things. Drew Banga, FNG. Having a Rebel U show.
When is your show?
December 4th at Omni Commons in Oakland. You should show up. That would be great.
Nice. How many? What is the show going to consist of? How many?
It's going to be a bunch
vendors?
of Rebel U students. So if you've seen on my Instagram the Rebel U series that I did, all the artists are from Rebel U. Stoney should be headlining. We have like 4 camps of people who make music together. So we got like groups of people who already work together really well and said, do you guys want to do like a 20-minute set? So it's like, I think it's like 15 people. It's a lot of people. It's at Omni Commons. If you've ever been to Omni Commons, there's like a really little spot, like over at the, what do you call it? The first floor of the building, where you can probably fit like 150, 200 people. Mm-hmm. And then there's an upstairs that's like a disco room where people can just have like a little DJ night. So we're getting a bunch of the DJs that we got involved to have like spin for an hour each. And, you know, hopefully turn some shit up.
I've never been to Omnicon before.
I've never been in a performing capacity, but I've seen the venue and it's beautiful. It's huge. Like it's definitely
How did you
good.
set that up? What was the process like behind that?
It helped a lot with Afterthought. Shout out to Aft. He helped me set up the space. Venues weren't really messing with me a lot. When I was asking around, I probably asked like 20 venues, and all of them were like, yeah, I need $5,000 or I need $3,000.
To hold the spot? Or?
Yeah. And then so Aft and me talked to Omni Commons, and they asked us for $1,000, and Aft was like, just take like part of the proceeds because we don't have that kind of money.
Damn.
So yeah, so it was pretty cool though. And the guy that helped us out, his name's Marquise. Shout out to Marquise. He showed us around. It's a beautiful venue. There's a lot of history to it. Apparently it used to be like a big, back in like the 80s, it was like a big like hair band place. Like you'd see like Van Halen come out there and like Twisted Sister and stuff like that. But it's become like a hip hop place recently, especially considering it's kind of on its last legs. So if you want to help donate to Omni Commons, they need $1 million by the end of next year. So,
Oh, shit.
yeah, so if you have some cash to hand to them, that'd be great. But yeah, it was fun. It's very nerve-wracking making this whole thing. It's been really stressful, but it's life.
Were you ever into like that type of genre of music, like Twisted
Hair
Sister?
hip hop? Yeah, when I was a really little kid, when I was like really young, when I was like from the ages of like 3 to like 7, I was listening to that kind of music because that's all my mom would play in the car. So I'd hear like a lot of Van Halen, a lot of Queen, Twisted Sister, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other bands, but I can't. What else falls under that category? I'm trying to think. Big hair bands.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue, yeah. Shout out the Devil. Love that. Stuff like that. Did you like that kind of music?
No, I didn't listen to that at all until I got like older and became an adult and stuff. And
That's funny.
And like I would never listen to that
Yeah.
stuff. But I mean, I like it now. Like I listen to it, but it's just like
It's
a different
fun.
type of like culture and stuff. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
A lot of my family doesn't listen to that, even though
Yeah.
we're like first. I'm not first generation, but my family, I guess, we're first generation.
What
and stuff.
generation are you?
For my mom, I'm actually third. And for my dad,
I'm 3rd generation too.
I'm first for my dad, but third
Okay.
for my mom.
Okay,
But
I get it. So you get the best of both worlds.
yeah,
kinda.
so it was like weird. Like, so my girlfriend is first generation, so her family, when we go to her events and stuff like that, they play nothing but Spanish music and maybe a little bit of hip hop here and there. But when I go to my family thing, it's all hip hop and oldies. We don't play no Spanish music. No one speaks Spanish. They don't
None
even.
of your family speak Spanish?
No.
Interesting.
My grandparents, my
That's
mom.
very interesting. Yeah.
But like a lot of my siblings and my cousins, like no one speaks Spanish fluently. They'll listen to like Spanish songs here and there, but like on special occasions. So it's like a weird, different like.
So there's no
culture.
Suavemente being played in the house.
No, like if you're having like a fucking quinceanera or something like.
Okay, there you go.
Like an actual party, but like when we have like family like get together and stuff, it's nothing but like hip hop oldies and stuff like that. I remember growing up
So.
in the '90s, my house was like the party house because my stepdad is younger than my mom,
Okay.
and so I think he's like 8 years younger than my mom. So
Oh, wow.
in the
So, yeah, they
90s,
got a little-
they were partying, and I think my stepdad was like in his 30s or his 20s or something. In the
So
90s.
he still wasn't done.
Yeah, so I remember vividly being in Fresno, and it was just like 90s hip hop, like gangster rap going on.
That's clean though.
Like being up and people drinking Mad Dog, playing dominoes at the table.
Mad Dog.
Seeing like, I had my dad's cousins like pull a knife out on each other in the backyard, like shit like that. It was crazy, and I was just like, all that stuff is like really vivid, and like I remember
Stuck
that.
in there. That's cool though.
It's different.
I didn't grow up in a party house like that at all. My parents were old, so they were like done partying by the
They're
time I was
done.
born. Yeah.
I can't imagine my parents doing what like I do now, like
Me neither.
going through this phase of my life.
Not at
I
all.
cannot. I just see them as like parents, like just.
Have you ever gotten your parents to like admit to some shit that they used to do like when they were younger, like that you never thought you'd get out of them?
My parents are pretty open though.
My parents aren't. I would say I have to really pry stuff out of them.
No,
You know what I mean?
My parents are very open,
Okay.
especially my dad and stuff. My dad and my biological father is really open about shit, and my stepfather is open about stuff too. But my family is a little bit different. My family's like really ghetto, so it's like my stepdad had a meth problem for a long time. My mom,
a meth problem.
yeah, for a long time. My
wow.
mom is crazy too, and she'll say like anything. But it's some things are hard for them to admit, but most stuff it's kind of easy to talk to them about things. Like I don't know, like my biological father admitted he had a gambling problem, addiction in the 90s.
That's a big thing to admit too. That's really tough. That's like one of the really hard addictions to kick.
Yeah, he wouldn't teach me like I was always wondering why he wouldn't teach me how to gamble, like play
You wouldn't
poker and
teach-
shit.
you're like-
he wouldn't fucking teach me. Like we're going to
He's
Vegas.
like, I can't get you into this.
I was like,
son.
we went to Vegas. I was like, yeah, you got to teach me. But he was like, I'm not going
I'm not
to.
doing that.
And he
That's
never did.
really funny. That's
But,
actually
like-
pretty admirable though. If he has a gambling problem, like
He said it was really bad. Like he would go to work.
and gamble at work.
No, well, he would go to work and he would work in like at probably like 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 or 3, whatever. Go home, shower, go straight to a casino, be there all night,
What was his game? Do you know?
like poker.
Oh, okay. So he's a poker
He's
guy.
a poker
Okay.
guy. And then he'll go home, shower, go to sleep, go to work, and do it all over again. He was doing that like every
Right.
other day until I was like, what finally made you stop? He was like,
Ran
I
out of
lost
money.
everything.
Yeah, ran out of all the money.
It's like I lost.
That's what everybody says. That's a gambling problem.
I fucking lost everything.
That's
But,
hella funny. Well, it's not funny. That's actually really horrible.
But,
But you know
I
what
mean, who talk about losing everything? I wonder if like Twitter is gonna go under. Like it
Yeah.
seems like it. That's my favorite
That's-
fucking.
I'm laughing at it kind of right now. It's kind of funny, but also really bad and horrible. Did you see that? You saw the prescription company? Somebody.
Lily.
Yes, Lily. Yeah, somebody bought
shit
like a
was
fake.
funny.
That's so funny, but also like I wonder how Elon himself feels about that because it's like that's great for people like us, right? Like the company like lost like hundreds of dollars in stock money,
Like millions.
no, oh yeah, I'm just saying like the actual like stock
the,
price
the
itself.
value
went
of the
down.
price of
Yeah.
the individual stock.
So like people lost so much money, but it's such a shithead brand. Like,
Yeah.
you mean to tell me you sell insulin for like $100
And then they put out a tweet saying, "Sorry for
the misinformation or whatever? Yeah, it's like
no, we're really
that's fucked
price
up.
gouging you. We're not gonna give it for free."
Oh, you talking about the parody account that bought the check?
No, like the actual account posted it like, "Hey, we're sorry for the misinformation," but basically they were saying was like, "We're actually not giving it for free. We're
we're still
continue.
gonna
we're gonna
price gouge
continue
you."
to make money." And
Yeah.
then like Bernie Sanders had posted something, and then Elon's fucking dumbass goes in there and like, actually it was invented in 1921, and then he got fact checked by his own like community,
real.
and they're like, America pays on average $190 per insulin, whereas other countries pay like $9.
Elon needs to chill. I feel like someone on his team, like the Twitter team, needs to be like, bro, we need to take your account really fast because you're saying things on this account and you'll be like, oh, if you do this, you won't be suspended. And then 30 minutes later, he's like, never mind. I got offended, so I had to suspend some accounts.
Well, I don't understand like how he didn't think this was gonna happen. Like it was. I saw this was gonna happen immediately. I was like,
For real.
once people they're gonna start going off. I didn't know it was gonna go like that extreme, but there were some really fucking funny ones.
They were
And-
really funny. That's why I'm saying it's so funny to watch, but also it's like, damn, like this app might not be around.
But you
next
can start
year.
to see it's like, oh, it's just starting. It doesn't feel the same as much anymore. It kind of feels like it's dwindling away.
It's the
But
beginning of the end.
it was my favorite fucking app. Like it was been my favorite. I remember
Really?
when like I left Facebook and I was like so done with it after like 2016 or 2015. I was so done with it because I saw everyone like fighting. People I grew up with like
That's when you got into
Baseball
Twitter in
coach?
2016.
2015, 16. You've been on it for a long time.
I mean, I've been on and off. I first joined in like 2009. and
Oh
then
yeah, for a long time, but I never really actually used it.
I used it a bunch, but then I would like going through moods where I hated it, and then so I would like delete it and then make a new account, and then delete it and make a new account. It was a lot.
I'm not an OG Twitter person. I've been on it probably since like 14, 15, like in that era.
It's a long time.
But
though,
that
yeah.
was like before then. I understand like people when you had to retweet someone, you used to have to put like retweet in the thing, or when you were like
Yeah,
subtweeting people, and that was like a thing before that was possible, and just like if you tweet too much, you'll go in like Twitter
Twitter jail,
That
yeah.
was like I
That was a
remember
real thing.
those
I've been in
days.
Twitter jail. Oh yeah.
But
I
like
remember you used to do like quote tweets, and you could like change what the person actually said. So you could say like they said some horrible ass shit, and you'd have to like actually look at the quote that the person made. So you're like, did this person say this super out of pocket stuff, or they don't do that anymore?
what I really liked Twitter was that I was able to get information really quick. And
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
following like the politics in like 2015, 16, it was like one of the places I would go to
Yeah.
because I would be able to get information that like accurately and quick that I was looking for.
It's basically our generation's newspaper.
Yeah, basically that's what I was going for my news.
Yeah.
Whereas Facebook, it was just like
You get one side.
I saw one person I grew up with that I thought they were like cool as fuck. They're one of like someone that used to coach me baseball and
Oh
everything.
no, and he
And then-
went super
Oh, he was
crazy.
super fucking went super MAGA right wing, and
Did he
it
go
was
into
just
the
like
QAnon thing?
yeah, like all that weird shit, and he was posting all this weird stuff, and I was like, that can't be the same person. Like
This is not this is not the guy who taught me how to throw a baseball.
I was like, this is weird. But then it was like everyone started, and then I was just like, I couldn't do it no more, and I was like, fuck this. And once I deleted the app off my phone, and then I just let it go, and
That's funny.
It was just easy to get away, and it just felt so much relief.
I totally get what you're saying, but I actually went back to Facebook and I just troll them all now, and I'll just say super like left wing things, and they'll be like, that's wrong, and I'm like, bro, you're like Hitler's favorite. You have blonde hair, blue eyes, you have a fucking Chinese letter tattoo on you. Like, chill out. Like, come on.
I never really get in political like online with people like in arguments.
Not anymore.
I do like a lot of like political left wing stuff. I mean, I identify with that ideology in certain aspects and stuff like that. But I never actually argue with people online because I always thought it was just like
So you're
that's just
going
not
to
what
an
I do.
echo chamber.
I don't
Yeah.
really like the confrontation of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I really enjoy when other people do it because I fucking I be reading through all those.
Yeah,
fucking
you go through
comments.
the 90 replies. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going off.
Sometimes those are great.
No, they're really fucking good, but there also comes a time when there is like people are overreaching. And I think what Kyrie Irving did was like when he posted that video, I really wanted to watch it, but I haven't got around to
You're
watching
talking about
it.
his like Black Israelite.
Yeah, I
thing he
really
did?
want to see what it was actually about because I have no clue. I never watched that. And then I was reading up on it more and more without actually watching it and what was actually going on in there. And I was like, oh, this is fucked up. And I think it was really fucked up on his part for doing that. And
What exactly did he do? This is what I want to know. When did
he just tweeted out a link to that video, and
Yeah.
that's
That
what
was
started
it.
it. And
Yeah.
what people wanted him to do was apologize because it said like, why would you do something like that? Especially when the video was made by Alex Jones, which he became.
Oh, it was an Alex Jones
yeah,
thing?
it was like
I didn't know that.
It was like a weird fucking.
Oh.
I don't know. It was like a weird thing that I guess he did back in the day, I think it's linked to Alex Jones. But what happened was they wanted him to like apologize.
Yeah, no, I get that they
Was
want
that
him
how
to
it-
apologize for the link and everything. I just feel like I just don't really get it. I feel like we're doing too much for that. Especially like him, he's a basketball player. I'm sorry. Like, I just feel like
I don't
it's...
actually. I don't know if the movie is actually made by Alex Jones. I think he just tweeted something about like the New World Order or some weird
Yeah,
shit.
so he did
But-
an Alex Jones-esque
Yeah, I don't know.
thing.
He did something adjacent to
yeah.
it, but he's always said some weird shit, or it's flat, and all this other bullshit. And I understand he is probably a really intelligent individual.
You talking
but
about Kyrie or
Kyrie.
Alex? Okay. I
Nah,
was about to be
Alex
like,
is fucking stupid.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Alex is dumb.
Kyrie Irving, I think, I don't know. I have like mixed feelings about it. The only problem that I really have with him tweeting this link is that like a bunch of people in the NBA have seen this movie and like shown it. And like Shaq, for instance, he like had shown this movie like a year earlier in like his own like home theater with like hundreds of people watching.
Well, but that's what I was trying to like get to is that he didn't want to apologize,
Yeah.
and he was standing on his thing, and then that turned into something more than what it was. Mm-hmm. But then became like the like the onslaught of like everyone.
Coming for
Like,
him.
In order for him to get back on the Nets, they said that he has to apologize, condemn the movie, which I think he's done so far. He has to donate $500,000 to anti-hate causes. He has to do sensitivity training, anti-Semite training, meet with the ADL and Jewish leaders, and meet with Joe Tassi, or whatever his name is, to demonstrate understanding. And I get that the Nets want to do all that, but they made it very public in order for him to get back. And I felt like it was an overreach.
Yeah, I agree.
To correct, something that is fucked up, but to overreach and to correct it, and then for Nike to pull out their deal, and like what foot does Nike have to stand on? You know?
Yeah, no. I think it's just radicalizing like the community a little bit more in a way that I'd say is not
it's not
a helpful way. Yeah, that's all. Like, because the problem is we can do all this stuff to Kyrie. I don't think necessarily anything's extremely wrong with it, but I think that the people who are on Kyrie's side are gonna get super like outraged by it, and then they're gonna start doing the craziest stuff, and then you're gonna make them go even crazier and fall into these weird, QAnon pockets where they're all like, well, so and so is a child, blah 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 blah, and it's like, what are you talking about, bro?
Well,
like,
yeah. So now it like, what happens is it like makes them not vilified, but makes them feel like, see, it is what's happening is correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Vindicated.
It almost validates them.
Yeah, they get vindicated from like feeling this, even though it's like it's all dumb, and I don't know too much
it's just
more
blown
about
out of
it.
proportion. Yeah, I think it's just a little too far, personally. But
It's when
do what you want to do.
the pendulum, when they try to correct it overcorrects.
Exactly.
Instead of getting balanced again, and so they're probably going to go through that, and then you have the worst actors on the side of like, hey, Kyrie's right. Like,
yeah, exactly.
boom, like
really putting a
the
pull
Jews
into that.
ruin everything.
Have
like,
you actually seen? Okay, sorry, we're gonna switch over, but have you seen like all the like singers and pop stars who are like, go vote, and then they're like voting for like all Republican like right leaning?
oh yeah, like Katy Perry. And all.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
really
it's obviously. I mean,
surprising.
you vote by most people vote by their economic
Status,
class
yeah.
and status.
That's
and
very
You're
real.
gonna vote with whatever protects
your money and everything.
And for me, I got to the point
real.
where I don't really care who you vote for. I obviously like have my ideology, my preferences, and what I prefer, to be, and to advocate for that. And I always advocate for it, and I will have a discussion with people. What I don't like is people hate other people because of whatever their leanings are or the way they vote. And it's not that I hate what they do, but people being dishonest about it or hating others for voting a certain way without, having some type of acknowledgement, if that makes sense. Unless they're very outwardly racist or they're very outwardly just fucking a fucked up individual.
That's real. Some of the people they be voting for, though, I'd be like, damn, you be standing up for this kind of stuff? You cool with this?
Oh yeah, 100%.
With the Carusos or whoever?
They're 100%. Like, you could just tell right away. It's like, what are you know, what are people's interests in what are they aligned to when they do things like that? Because I was very locked in on certain races throughout this country, and I get really into like fucking this political space and shit, and I'd be looking at everything and following it for updates, constantly refreshing, you know, Google, trying to see what's going on, because I was hoping that some of these Republicans were going to lose and or Democrats were going to pick up some seats in some areas, especially like Pennsylvania was a big one. Nevada is looking like it's going to be a big one. Mark Kelly won in Arizona, which is very good, and in Washington. Yeah. But there's some places that are just totally went different. Like Republicans did really well in New York.
Yeah,
really
that's true.
fucking well. And in Florida, they wiped out mostly everything over there.
Yeah, Florida's kind of
in Texas too.
Of course, Texas.
And so it's just like it just shows you how different we are from
place to place,
different areas, and we can't be put into like one category.
Yeah.
Because in Texas, all the Hispanics over there, Latinos, are like very like very conservative, and that's like their identity.
Yeah, no,
and
definitely.
So like in California, we're a little bit different, and in Florida, the Latinos, Hispanic over there are a little bit more conservative as well. So it's like it's just like a difference, and I think I want people to understand like there is a difference. Could we have common ground? I don't know. I don't think so. On certain things.
Yeah, I think there's a way to explain things to people that they don't understand, kind of. Whenever I hear someone like talk about like, I don't know, for instance, like, I don't know how you feel, but like, you know, like universal income or something. I feel like a lot of people are like, ew, no, like you should work for your money, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, do you want to pay rent every month? And they're like, no. It's like, well, then maybe you should get your space for free and you can still work and make money and figure out how to do that to funnel into your hobbies or whatever. I'm just saying like things like that are, I don't know. I feel like we could agree on a lot more if we found a way to explain it in a way where it's not super preachy and annoying and gross.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be something where you could be able to articulate a point, and they do that some instances.
Sometimes, yeah.
When you allow people to vote for things rather than just have like people are going to be more divided over politicians because of their political affiliation. But when you have specific like things on ballots, like legalize marijuana.
Yeah.
And when you allow it in states that are more conservative, most of the time
they're going to be like,
they're
nah.
legalized. But it didn't pass in South Dakota, North Carolina, and some other states.
Yeah.
But it did pass in, I believe, Missouri.
Missouri, I would not believe that. That's pretty crazy.
It passed in like some other ones. But also, like, if you put up abortion in these states and people are voting most of the time pro-choice.
Pro-choice, yeah.
No abortion bill or like anything in like states that was on the ballot passed. And so, and they might have slightly had a pro-choice vote over, but it still passed. That's still democracy. Even if it votes 51%, it's still
exactly.
It is what it is. But what got me here in California was online sports betting. I'm surprised that it wasn't even fucking close. Like it wasn't.
It's because of how they like what's it called, like advertise the prop, because it sounded really bad when you see it like on these ads and stuff. But then when you see certain things, like certain studies or certain whatever, that they said they were going to give it back to like communities, like homeless communities, and et cetera, it's like, oh, well, this doesn't sound that bad. But then not everyone's going to hear that. You know, they're just like, online sports betting, not my kids.
There was that. But then there's also the aspect, I've seen some that are like basically saying, online sports betting, do you want Native Americans to not have anything anymore? Don't they get a lot more too from it, or no? I think when the bill, they got like a subsidy part of it was supposed to go to native tribes and stuff.
Yeah.
But people don't realize in the state of California, not every tribe owns a casino. That's true. A lot of the casinos are like, especially the ones that do well, don't have they don't have a lot of enrollment in the tribe. And some of the I worked with Native American population for several years, and so learning that over time, you see some of the fucked up shit about it. They were like kicking people off their enrollments because less people on means more money for everyone else, and you'll see families getting kicked off because they're like, oh, you technically are not blah blah, and so they're fighting over like
Interesting.
percentage points of
Of like
blood
what
and
works.
whatnot.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
That's annoying.
pretty much insane. Like it's crazy, but that does happen. So there is greed in it as well, which is like it's fucked up because there is some like tribal, like California tribal or California tribes that do very well off casinos, and there's some that
Yeah.
have casinos they don't
Don't
make
do much.
anything.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
at
some
all.
very poor, like
I've seen some pretty
Very-
good ones. I've seen some pretty impoverished ones before.
very
for sure.
impoverished ones. Yeah, very reservations that are very impoverished, and it's like, would that online betting be able to benefit more? Would be able to divide the more money because if one tribe gets money from a casino, they don't spread it out to other tribes.
No, yeah,
It's
of
for
course, of
them.
course. Yeah.
So it's like, would this have helped in that instance? But would it cause everyone else to lose money as well?
Well, I guess we'll never know.
So fucking
'cause it
California,
didn't
I don't
get
know.
passed. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But what do you? So you're talking about Drew Benga wanted to start radio.
Yeah, so this actually happened from YouTube avenues. Big Rich, shout out to Big Rich, don't fire me, Big Rich. We just, we went to this event called YouTube Avenues to teach us how to make money. And they went down a lot of logistics about like why we don't get seen as an area in hip hop. And we were like trying to like figure out like what's the cause of that and what we could do to fix that. And I mean, as you would know, I would hope, we only have one hip hop station in all of the Bay Area. Do you know which one that is?
106.1.
Yeah, KMEL, which is fine. But KMEL changes its designation from a hip hop station to, I forget what the exact word is, but it's a word where you can only play 25 records a day. So that means every day you're hearing the same 25 records, and that's why you hear it when you like get out of the car and then the song comes off and then you get back in, you hear the same song. It's because they can only play that many songs. When you're a hip hop station, you can bring 50 records to a station because you're allowed to break artists. So like pretend, who's someone that we would both know, like Jay, Frosty.
Yeah.
Pretend that someone from the radio hears Frosty's record and they're like, oh, I want to play this. Cameo can't do that unless he was signed to a major record label.
They're only in business with like big time.
Yes, but that's why like places like Atlanta compared to us get more like work together because they have 4 stations and 3 of them are hip hop stations. So that means they can play 50 records a day, and that's 175 records or 150 records that they can play a day from 3 different things, and they can all switch out and pick whoever they want. You get what I mean?
Is it because of money purposes?
It's partly money. It's also just like how like radio stations are ran these days. It's because, yeah, basically, because they need to put the AdSense dollar on, and so they need to get like either the records to pay them, or they want like advertisers who know who the actual, you know, artists are and be like, oh, I'd love to hear my ad after a Doja Cat song, or I'd love to hear this after that, you know?
The crazy thing too is like, I mean, a lot more people that probably don't listen to radio as much anymore with, you know, Apple Music, Spotify,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
else.
So
they listen
it's
to,
definitely a
YouTube
dying
music.
thing. Yeah.
It is, but radio still has that place.
Yeah,
and
it has a place.
I still listen to it from time to time.
Me too. Yeah.
But I remember KBL used to have, I don't know if it was Friday nights or Sunday nights when they used to have like
the
local.
break the part.
Yeah, that was-
I think they can't do that anymore.
That was
because
really
they
fucking
switched
cool,
it.
and I haven't listened to that in a very long time of them doing that, but I didn't know if they stopped or if they still
I
did
think
or
they
not.
have stopped, but that's the whole reason. So like Drew Benga brought up this thing, and it kind of started a little bit of flack online on Twitter, because he said he wanted to make a radio station. He's like, you know, like if you're in the Bay, tap in, and like a lot of people were kind of mad at him because they were like, why would you try and like take away from KMEL? And it's like, well, obviously KMEL isn't what it once was. Obviously there's a bias because Drew Benga makes a bunch of beats for a bunch of famous artists. So he could just put in all of his songs, and I'm sure no one would care, but at the same time it's like we do want to like break artists around all of the Bay, not just Drew Benga artists, which is fine. Hey, Drew Benga, hey, tap in with me. I want to get on the radio. I'd be a little disc jockey or whatever the fuck. But yeah, it was like a big conversation to be had. It was 2 days ago, I believe, when he.
I saw that. I saw on Twitter when he posted that, but I
Yeah.
didn't see the I didn't see the backlash from
There
it.
was a lot of like in between. There's people talking in the comments and then quote tweets of people being like, "It's a great idea. It's a bad idea." Blah 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 blah. You know how the Bay Area fights about everything.
I think there is like local radio stations that you
Yeah.
can do, but like
But it's not like KMEL. You get what I mean?
KMBL is a Bay Area staple. It's like when people come, like big artists come, they go to KMBL when they're promoting things and stuff like that. It's like you were trying to be like a very top tier type of station.
Yeah. And it can't really do that anymore, which is fine. But it's like you have to realize like we're not going to get as much play.
If Drew Banger was gonna make a radio station, he should just do a YouTube station or a
you
YouTube
think?
show. I know he wanted to do a radio station, and it'll be more accessible to everyone. You know, everyone if they're driving, whatnot. But if you wanted to do something where he's able to have more flexibility, more creative direction without having to worry about advertisers and stuff like that. Do a YouTube channel where it basically becomes a show, you know, and be able to put things out that way, where he could do it live, and people could watch it at a certain time every day live going on. If he could break it up, he could have morning live, afternoon, evening live, how like a regular radio station does it. And then also people could always replay it whenever they want to watch it again. Or they could have it where they listen to like, you know, kind of like YouTube music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where
You're saying make like a VOD kind of thing, like a live stream of
basically, and then do it that way where whoever's spinning the records do it like that, and you can also bring in artists and stuff like that. Just create your own show, because most likely that'll probably be the easiest way to get into it and do it with a lower budget, whereas you don't have to have like. I'm assuming to do a radio station, it costs a lot because you have to have the space and all that stuff, and
definitely
pay for the airways and all this whatever. With YouTube, you could just create. All you got to do is have your space and set up how you want to do it. And I'm pretty sure he has probably good, you know, equipment and whatnot to make it happen, because he's very good at what he does, producing and stuff. So that's in my opinion, that's how I would approach it. But I'm not, you know, the biggest music person. I wouldn't know.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's a great idea, but it's also just like, the radio is just so much more accessible, unfortunately. It's easy to get like in a car and just switch to a radio station. On YouTube, you have to like go, Drew Banger, radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not everyone's going to look that up. But
That's true, too.
I agree, though. Like, I think that's a good idea. I think that'd be smart. And I bet you he would do something like that if he can't get in the radio.
Well, most radio channels now, most radio stations now do both. So they're doing the radio station and the YouTube live at the same time. Because I watch, I watch a lot of sports, like 95.7 The Game.
Okay, yeah.
But they also post it online on YouTube. So they have a YouTube channel, and I watch it. Sometimes I watch it live when they're doing it during the mornings. When I'm at home, if I'm driving, I'll listen to the sports radio talk. But like, or later in the day, because I work evenings, so I'll watch it later when I'm going to work and stuff. So I'll catch it up later. And so they do both, and I think that's probably what people have to do, you know, to make have success, is like to try to do both. But I don't know. It sounds like it's something that would be really cool opportunity just to get the artists here in the Bay Area more recognition, especially those that are not signed to anything major. But how was the YouTube event that you went to?
It was fun. It was really crazy. It was a very surreal experience.
What was it called?
It was called YouTube Avenues. It was hosted by Wallow. I don't know if you know who Wallow is. He runs a podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game. He's a pretty famous guy. I guess he's partnered with YouTube to help like disenfranchise like black communities, get like more. They were teaching us how to make money on YouTube without getting signed, or like just an easier way to make money without necessarily having to like get a 9-to-5 job anymore. It was a lot. There was hella heads in the building. There was, you know, I Am Sue was there, Guap Dad, Da Boy, Eloy Gino. There were so many heads. It's hard to explain. There's a bajillion people in there. Ghazi from Empire was there. He had a nice Q&A for us. It was so many people.
What was your takeaway from the entire day, and who was the best speaker in your opinion?
There was this lady. She was part of the department team for like helping everyone, I guess, with the YouTube. It's through YouTube Shorts, what they were trying to tell us to do, because apparently there's a way to make easier money doing that this year. So there was this lady, I don't remember her full name, but she went by Rachie. Pretty sure she was from Atlanta. And she was just like giving us like super game. She was telling us like, if you make music, like you can't just randomly drop anymore. You have to like set up a date. You have to like have a premiere date, like set things up on YouTube. You know how you can do like that whole, here's a premiere and it shows up in X amount of days. It was stuff like that, like how to advertise yourself. Some people like, you know, only show off their music when they're advertising themselves. She's like, don't do that all the time. Like some people want to see who you really are. Do a get ready with me for the day. Like here's a day with my girlfriend or boyfriend, or, you know, like it's just like she's saying like, how do you make yourself like have content a lot, but not necessarily make it all music? Because some people are going to like you for one thing and some people might like you for music, but you got to draw in as many people as you can so that you can, you know.
You're trying to get off to me, it sounds like you're trying to get off the vibes of like accessibility.
Yeah, exactly.
People will be like, relate to you in a way where it's like, hey, you're...
Yes. It's trying to make you seem like a person and not like a mysterious figure. Because the whole thing is everyone wants to do that, right? Everyone wants to be like that person who's like, oh, I drop once a year and everyone listens. And it's like, no one listens because you have 8 people who know who you are. So you need to like really like put yourself out there. Once you get famous, you can do the whole cryptic, mysterious thing if you want.
Like J. Cole could do that.
Yeah, exactly. But J. Cole didn't do that at first. You get what I mean? J. Cole was talking to people on Twitter. J. Cole was talking to people in the YouTube comments. He was doing all this. Like, we got to stop acting like we're like bigger than the next man because we didn't want to say what's up to a person who really likes our music or our clothes or whatever, you know? But I brought my friends, Frosty and Colo, and it was good because they make music and I just do the clothes. So like we were kind of like looking back and forth at each other, and I was like, I've been telling you people, can't do that anymore, you know? And so it was nice for them to actually like listen to me over what they said, you know, because I've been telling them that for a long time.
One of the things that I remember you telling me was like you started posting a lot more, you know, trying to put more content out there, and you saw an uptick in engagement. You saw an uptick in what people were actually looking for. It was helping you in that way to, you know, see what people liked and what they didn't. Whereas other people might only post like once a while, or once, and they're not getting the information that they want out of that. So it does show you what you can and cannot do, but it also takes trial and error. It takes you actually putting in the work to get to that level, and people don't realize how much work it is to go into making some type of social media presence.
Yeah, I'll say like I started posting every day maybe 2 years ago now, and the first year I did it, not a lot. It changed, but not a lot changed, you know what I mean? But like this year, me doing it, and also me making connections with a bunch of people and stuff, but like this changed my life, you know what I mean? Posting like every day. Not that my life is super different, but it's like now I can go right now. I'm an A&R for an intern, like for a company, like a record label. I know hella people around the Bay. We're going to a music video shoot later. Like we're talking to a bunch of people. People hit me up and say, hey, who would sound good for this record? People hit me up and say, hey, help me make some clothes. Like, people did not do that years ago, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of that, it only happened because I posted every day, because now I seem like this company rather than just one person. People usually don't they might look at me and be like, oh, you're the guy, but sometimes they look at people around me and be like, which one of you is the guy? You know what I mean? So, it's nice. It's fun. Posting every day, you should do that more often to everybody.
It goes to show how much work it takes to actually to do it, and a lot of people give up.
Yeah.
And so I'm a person that's really big on like YouTube. I love YouTube. I love what it does, like the long form content. You could go on there, you could learn, you know, anything you're trying to learn.
YouTube University.
You could go on there and you could have for enjoyment, you know, recreation. You go on there just for entertainment.
You go on there for anything you want.
Yeah, you can watch whatever it might be that you're looking for. Music, you're looking for entertainment, photography,
sports. You want to learn how to mix and match your music. You want to learn how to make clothes. You want to learn how to make stuffed animals. You want to learn how to make a beanie. You know, I don't know. You can do anything you want on YouTube.
One thing that I I'm not into yet is making short form content. And short form content
That's
is
where it's
just
going.
everyone, like the TikTokification of the United States, of like everyone is like, everyone loves short form in some capacity.
Yeah. Our attention spans are just getting shorter, you know? That's
for
what
sure.
they're telling us, like, in a YouTube short, like, you should, like, you know, like, get someone's attention, like, within the first 5 seconds, because someone's just gonna keep scrolling, you know? And that's kind of what they were, like, trying to tell us, like, oh, like, short form content's the way to go, but make sure you pull someone in really fast.
And the same applies to long form content, because within
Yeah.
the first 30 seconds, if people are not vibing with like your video, they're gonna
Click off real
right
quick, go
away.
to
And
the
so
next
you're
one.
looking for retention rate. You're looking for people to actually see and maybe click through your channel for you to grow. But as far as short form content, I'm the person that I just scroll through. I'll watch it and I'll scroll through. I wouldn't even, like, I don't follow a lot of short form content creators.
You're not a big TikTok guy?
I don't even have TikTok installed on my phone. I'll watch TikToks, but from people send me. But most of the TikToks
funny.
I watch are on Instagram.
Already. Yeah,
So basically,
that's real.
people make a TikTok and they put on Instagram Reels, and that's how I watch a lot of them. But I
how it
don't.
works.
The reason why I don't download TikTok, or I actually have TikTok myself, but I've only posted like twice or 3 times. But I used it for maybe like a week or 2, and I realized how bad it will be for me, and I'll be stuck on it. And so I know myself, and that's why I don't do it. But I see the value, what people get from it. But I also see, and talking to other people don't really make that much money off it yet. And
Yeah,
it's
that's the
like-
big thing, though. It's a yet, you know?
Yeah.
Some people, I mean, I'm not saying this happens to everyone, but, like, the #1 creators on TikTok make, like, they'll get ad incense, you know? Like, I heard, what's his name? Cabby Lame, you know?
Yeah,
guy who's
that
like-
guy makes a lot of motherfucking money.
He makes, like, thought it was, like, $70,000 a post. And he posts, like, 3 times a day.
It's
So
insane.
he
It's
makes
insane.
6 figures a day? Like, I don't know.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot.
Well, how do you get that to trickle down to smaller creators that are doing relatively well to get to
Yeah.
that point? Because he's like the top 0.1% of like the creators that do really well, and it's like, how do you keep it from a minority of people that make all the revenue from
big-
it?
yeah.
That make all the, like, you know, money from making this content, even though there's other people that make really good content as well, as
Yeah.
far as doing certain things.
I think it just takes, like, finding your audience, if that makes sense. I'm not saying everyone's going to be Cabby Lame or Charlie D'Amelio or whoever, but, like, if you find your audience, your little niche audience, whether that's, you know, like, people who like K-pop or people who like baggy jeans, or I don't know, something that, like, you can get in a niche in TikTok, someone is going to, like, find that, love that, and then you can capitalize off of that and find a way to get advertisers to come to you, whether that's, you know, like, you make music, so they're gonna share a A&R class, or they're gonna share a mixing and mastering class, or if you make clothes, they're gonna be like, you know, you can get in with Forever 21, blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, it's
For you,
whatever.
what short form content doesn't work for you? Like, when you're looking at it and you're like, I can't.
you're talking about, like, for
me-
my clothing.
Well, not for your clothing, but for, like, you. Let me ask this question again, or re-ask it. For you, when you're viewing something, what short form content do you not like, and what short form content doesn't work for you personally when you're trying to post things? If that makes sense.
So I'm gonna need to hear that one more time.
Okay,
I'm, like,
so
so confused by this question.
All right, let me ask it. Let me ask the first part, then ask the second part.
Yeah.
First part is, what short form content that you do not like? When you watch something and it's
Just
short-
period, like, I'll skip
and
over it.
You'll skip over it every time.
It's those people, I don't know if you've seen them, but I always see them. There'll be people who are like, I'm gonna make this dish today, and then they put, like, Frosted Flakes with, like, mac and cheese with fucking Chips Ahoy, and then they, like, bake it all together and it looks like a piece of shit.
yeah.
I watched it the first couple of times, but it's always the same, like, 10 people, and then, like, once they're like, I'm making this, and they start with one, like, whack-ass ingredient, I'm
Yeah.
like, what's going on? I have to scroll. It's either that or, like, people who do long stories where they're like, today at 3:50, I went to my job and blah blah blah. Like, I'm like, it's short form content. I need you to make it real quick for me.
See, stuff like that is like, I don't care. I'm not engaged. I don't know who you are. Like,
Exactly.
that's something that's like cool with your friend group.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you put it in long form like that, people obviously are gonna watch and stuff like that. But I don't
I think there's ways
to me,
to
I
make
pass
it
over that.
entertaining, but yeah,
I pass
like
over
it.
that shit too.
Yeah.
I really don't like. There's only a few people that I really do like when they make like. I'm going to this restaurant, like reviewers, people that
Yeah,
do
I
a
like
lot of
food
reviews,
reviewers,
like a
yeah.
lot of reviewers. I really don't fuck with.
Oh,
Because
you don't like?
No,
Oh.
there's only a couple I do because a lot of it feels like very, for me, it feels very like forced and fake.
Yeah.
It was like, do
Yeah.
you enjoy it? Do you actually go and enjoy making it out to A Because I've had a couple times where I've actually gone to some of the places that they talk about, and it's like,
Shitty.
the place is fucking whack. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
it was like,
oh yeah.
it was just in a way of like doing it just to make content rather than doing it because they like to do it. Which is me probably projecting.
Maybe.
But I don't like to do that personally, so that's probably what. That's why I probably don't like to, because I don't like to do it personally. Even though I've tried to do it a couple times, but I feel like, I mean, everyone has their place. Those are things that I always skip through right away. And also, people are trying to be funny and they're not. When when everyone's doing the same repurpose trend, those are things I don't like.
Definitely.
The trends that get pushed 100 times and then a new trend comes and whatnot. I watch the first couple of them, but then when everyone's doing it, it's like,
Then it gets a little tired. Yeah, I feel that. What was the second
So
part
the
of the question?
second part of the question was, what are some short form content that doesn't work for you, that when you're trying to make something?
You're talking about me making content.
Yeah, you making like short form content. What doesn't work for you?
I feel like there's a lot that doesn't work for me personally, but that's just because as a person who makes clothing, it's like what really hits, because you can only do so much with clothes besides either showing pictures, doing a get ready with me, or like a little skit where you're like wearing the clothes about it. Everything else is like, how do I show this off? You know what I mean? Whether that's making food, whether that's reviewing something, whether that's, I don't know, I don't know. There's like so much that I can't do, you know what I mean? That's why I felt like kind of good about the YouTube Avenues thing, because they were saying to experiment with like the content that you're comfortable with. So like me, you know me, I do photography. So like I usually on TikTok, like I either post like funny skits or I just post like pictures of photos that I've taken. And so they were saying like, you know, you kind of need to get out of your comfort zone and make like different stuff. So I'm not saying that I'm going to do it right away, but I'm going to try and figure out the things that I don't like and try and figure out how to get good at them in terms of that kind of content that I don't want to do. So it's all up in the air, honestly, right now. We'll see.
I think that event really helped you out a lot, because the way you're explaining things, like it's something that feels like you're being taught like the right and wrong ways on how to approach it. Because when you talk to when I talk to people at least about stuff, like they don't know like how to approach this at all, and myself included. I really don't know how to. I don't really know how to approach a lot of this stuff, but I do know the basics of like what you need in order to get to a certain level to be successful, especially on like the certain platforms. Like what you need to do to monetize, you need to have 4,000 hours of playback time. You need to have 1,000 followers before you could get to that level.
Or 10 million views for shorts now, apparently. I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you, because it's not like I know what I'm really doing either. Of course, like the YouTube thing like pushed me in the right direction. But the whole thing is like, no matter what, I personally feel like you should like, doing something is better than doing nothing at all. You know what I mean? If you did something like at all for your content or whatever you want to do, that's better than just sitting there and wondering, what should I do? Do something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least you tried it. Someone's going to like it. Not everyone, but someone's going to like it. But I just feel like the more you try, the more shots you put on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, someone who does 10,000 shots of practice is way better than someone who does 5 shots of practice and makes it every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. And over time, it's not just doing, like you said, like 10,000 shots. Like over time, you're going to learn how to do it correctly.
Exactly.
And so that's the trial and error part of it, is that you're going to have to learn how to take failure and try again where you're able to be successful, and then replicate that over and over again, being consistent. And thinking about social media or anything is like learning how to be consistent in any type of format you're trying to do. Because it's just like, there's some people that hit overnight success. Like there's some people that post a couple videos and they just take off, or, you know, or maybe, I don't know if you know any like people in fashion that, you know, were barely doing it and
all of a sudden they blow up.
They blow up.
Yeah, it happens. The thing is not to get discouraged by seeing those kind of things. Like I've definitely seen people who have like, we've started together and they've blown up over the thing. And then I've seen some people who stay in the same place that we started in. And it's like, don't get discouraged either way. You see someone who's not doing anything, you should work harder. You see someone who's doing way better than you and like you like kind of look up to at this point, go hard too. Like everything should make you feel like a little bit motivated to get to the next piece. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. I think that's like a great way to approach, you know, life, but also your creative, you know, your creative ideas. Like,
Yeah.
go for it in a way where it makes sense for you.
Sorry, not to cut you off. There was a thing that they said too that I feel like a lot of people have to hear, and it's like, everyone I've ever met says this or thinks this. I've thought this. I'm sure you've thought this. Jay and Colo told me that they've thought this, like when we were there. But like, there's this thing that creatives do where we don't like to post. We don't like to spam the feed with things, right? We'll be like, you pretend an episode comes out. You're gonna post it once and that's it, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same thing. Usually, I'm gonna post something once and be like, oh, okay, well, people should know now. They don't. We don't have any followers. No one cares about us if we're being realistic. So what we should do is post it 100 times, let people know. That way at least they know. You think you're getting tired of people, or people are getting tired of you, those are the people you don't want. You want the people who see the 100 posts and be like, whoa, okay, now I know. And then they go to YouTube and check you out. Like, don't care if you're annoying people. Annoying people is going to be part of the game until you get up there. And even when you do get up there, people are going to be annoyed by you. So do what the fuck you want. Post it 100 times, post it 1,000 times. Post it every day for fucking 6 years. You know what I mean? Like, you have to figure out something that's going to shake and wiggle for you. You know what I mean? If you sit here and never post or post once a month and think that people are going to know, nobody knows.
That's fuck. Yeah.
Just saying.
I hate posting multiple times because I'm so, like,
too.
I don't want to be that.
The annoying person.
Yeah,
Me too.
I don't want to be like, but I understand when, like, there's times and places when to post and when not to post, because there's definitely times where you learn from experience. Like, if you post it this time, no one's going to see it. No one's going to see it. You post it on this random time on this day, and it's like, fuck, it hit. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that's why you should post a lot, though. They were saying, like, even like, okay, so I only post once a day, but they were saying you should post like 4 or 5 times a day and figure out what's the real pocket. Because on Instagram, or I don't know if Twitter does it too, but I know YouTube does it too. It's like, oh, if you post at this time on this day, this is your highest day. So this is when the most people would see you on the analytics. They're saying, fuck that. Post it a bunch of times, because then more and more people are going to see it, and then the numbers keep going up and up. So it gives you like a broader understanding of what, if you post every day at the same time, people are going to be like, this, only the same 100 people are going to see it. So if you post once every day at noon, only those people at noon are going to see it. You should post at 9, 11, noon, 3, 6, you know what I mean? You should post like around the clock, because then people are like, why is this motherfucker posting so much? And then they actually start looking at you, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, be annoying. That's my little advice, be annoying.
Well, yeah, I couldn't give better advice than that, so I think we'll leave it off there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Check it out. We'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube,